today it is time to do a video. The end. Hello everybody, as you can see, Halloween has finally arrived in my kitchen and I am so excited and happy about it because it is my second favourite time of the year after Christmas, obviously. There's just so much I feel like you can do creatively with Halloween, and since you guys absolutely loved my quick and easy treats at Easter, I thought it was only right to do it again at Halloween. So here before me you can see my 4 really easy treats slash desserts. I feel like there's something here that everyone will like, and it's so easy and really affordable. So let's get started. First up are the Waking the Dead mud cups. For this you will need chocolate Angel Delight. You're going to want 2 packets, some glasses, some original Oreos, some black colouring, and some ready to roll icing in green, black and white, or any other Halloween colours that you want, and a lot of milk. So my cups are these. I just got these from M&S, but you can use any cups or mugs that you have in your house. You can even use plastic ones if you don't have anything like this that you're able to use. And I have found that 2 packets of Angel Delight go perfectly into 3 glasses. So if there's more than 3 of you, make sure you stock up. This is also really easy to find in the supermarkets. You shouldn't have any issue, and it's super cheap. For every packet of Angel Delight, you need 300 millilitres of milk. So I've got 600 here, and I'm simply gonna put the Angel Delight and the milk into the bowl. This reminds me so much of being a child. We used to have this all the time. And then with a whisk, you want to get your guns out and whisk this until it's light and fluffy. Once you've whisked, it's time to make it look a little bit like dirt. So because we want these to look like mud, I'm gonna add this, which is the Dr. Oetker black gel food colouring, and I'm gonna squeeze the whole thing in. Oh, that looks really pretty. It kind of looks like the album art for Blink 182. Now mix it in. Tap off your excess Angel Delight. Now you want to fill each glass about 2/3 of the way. Next step is to take your Oreos. So what you want to do is you want to twist the Oreo very carefully so it breaks off like this. So keep that to one side, and then with the bits you don't use, you can throw them together and create a double stuffed Oreo, and then you can just eat these. Essentially, it's an extra treat, but it doesn't really require any effort at all. You can always scrape the white off, but that's quite long and a bit, no one really wants to do that. So double stuffed Oreos. Okay, you're then gonna wanna get yourself a little sandwich bag and pop all the Oreos into the bag. And then using a wooden spoon or a rolling pin, smash the hell out of your bag of biscuits. This bit's quite fun. Once you've done that, and you now have a bag of what looks like soil, which is totally the effect you're going for, so that's good, you just want to sprinkle it on top of your Angel Delight. The next thing you're going to want to do is to put those aside. To be honest, you can eat them like this. I quite like it chilled, so I would put them in the fridge. But you're going to want to grab yourself some ready to roll icing. You can use any colours you like. I've gone for white and green just because I think green is quite zombie-ish and white is quite like skeletal. And it's kind of like playing with Play-Doh. You just want to make a little arm. Sounds complicated, but it's actually really not that difficult. So I started off with an oblong and sort of made a circle shape up one end, and then you've got the arm. Then using a knife, you cut for the thumb and then each finger, and just mold it till it sort of looks like a hand. And if you don't want to do hands, you can do anything you want that's remotely Halloweeny. So if you had orange, you could do little pumpkins and make it look like a pumpkin patch if you don't want to have arms coming out of the ground. So there's one arm, and I'm going to do one in white. Just to give the hand a little bit more definition, I've done some scores in it with a knife, but it doesn't really matter. This is meant to be like a skeleton, so I mean, if you've got more time on your hands, then you can probably spend a bit more time doing this. I'm just thinking, you know what? They're dead. They're coming out through the ground. They don't really care what their hands look like at this point. Once you're happy with your hands, you can get a little bit creative. Now I have some of this, which is the Sugar Flare color. It's like a gel color and it's in the color Scarlet. But if you have any other kind of food coloring or even a liquid food coloring would work quite well with this. And I've just got a little brush and I'm just gonna dust them with some red to make it look a bit like blood. These will automatically set quite hard if you just leave them out, but you definitely want them to go a lot harder before you put them into your soil. So I'm gonna pop these in the freezer for a little while and then we can stick them in. Next thing you're gonna do is pop these that have stiffened slightly in the fridge or the freezer, and you just wanna stick them in the mud. There you go, your creepy Halloween Waking Dead mud cups. Next up are these Spiderweb chocolate cupcakes. For this, you will need 3 eggs, 4 tablespoons of boiling water, 165 grams of golden caster sugar, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 40 grams of cocoa powder, white chocolate, baking paper, piping bag and a small nozzle, 175 grams of butter, 115 grams of self-raising flour. For the icing, you will need 60 grams of unsalted butter, 3 tablespoons of whole milk, 30 grams of cocoa powder, and 250 grams of golden icing sugar. I realized I'd never actually done a chocolate cupcake recipe here on my channel before, so it was about time to do it, and what better time to do it than Halloween. The recipe I'm using is actually good old Mary Berry. Good old Beza, it's her recipe, which you can find online, but also feel free to just buy cupcakes if you can't be bothered to make them. You can get ones that aren't iced, so you can ice them yourself. Depends how lazy you're feeling. First thing you want to do is, in a small bowl, you want to add your boiling water to your cocoa powder to form a paste. Once you have a chocolatey paste, you want to bung it in your bowl or your mixer. Next thing you're going to want to do is simply bung all your ingredients into the bowl. So in goes the sugar, in goes your self-raising flour, then go your 3 eggs, your butter. Always seem to struggle with that bit. 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and then whisk. Done! So after that, you want to grab yourself a muffin tin and some paper cases of your choice. I have got these. These are like little black ones with polka dots, but there's quite a selection of Halloween cupcake cases out there. Now you're going to want to spoon your mixture into your cupcake cases. Pop these into a preheated oven of 200 degrees Celsius for 15 to 20 minutes until they are springy to touch and slightly golden on top. Okay, so whilst your cakes are in the oven and before we start on the chocolate buttercream icing, you're gonna wanna make yourself some white chocolate spiderwebs. Now this seems really fiddly and you can of course just put a white chocolate on top if you want to, but I just thought that this was quite a nice thing to do and it's quite simple. They're cake toppers. I'm gonna cut the end of this piping bag and put a really fine nozzle down the end, and using some baking paper I'm simply going to draw some cobwebs with some melted white chocolate. This may take a few practice runs and I can't say that I'm an expert in this, but you can make it as simple or as intricate as you want to. I start by just doing a simple line and another one and across here and then joining them up. Once you have done your little spider webs, you want to pop these in the fridge or the freezer depending on how quickly you need them. I'm just going to whack mine in the freezer. Next thing you're going to want to do is make your chocolate icing. So I'm going to pop butter into my mixer, whisk him up for a good while. Okay, now to add your icing sugar, a little bit at a time, and add a tablespoon of milk. With a big old piping nozzle and piping bag, you just want to spoon your icing in and basically get piping. Just taken my cobwebs out of the fridge and using a palette knife, I'm going to very carefully take them off of the baking sheet and place them on the cupcake. Yay! Look how good they look! I'm so excited to eat them. My only piece of advice that I would give you when doing these cobwebs is to do more than you think you'll need, just in case any break. But I think they look pretty damn good, if I say so myself. Halloween bark. Now this is so simple but so easy, and it looks really, really cool. So I would always advise, if you've got a bit of time and you want to do something that's that little bit of extra effort instead of just buying chocolates, you can do it yourself. Plus, it's really fun. First thing you're going to want to do is melt chocolate. I've got white chocolate in a piping bag, and I also have milk chocolate and some dark chocolate as well, but it completely depends on what you like. You need a baking tray and a baking sheet, and you simply go crazy with stuff to throw on top. So I'm going to start with milk chocolate, and I'm going to pour it onto the baking sheet, and then you just want to smear it out. This is the most satisfying thing ever. You can do it in any shape you want. I'm sticking to a rectangle because I'm being boring. Also, it just looks really neat. And then go in with your dark chocolate. I'm gonna kind of flick this. Oh, don't go too crazy with the flicking, it goes everywhere. I think more than anything, this looks really visually quite cool, but it's so much fun to do. I'm now going to put some fudge chunks on mine, and I think some white chocolate drops. Oh, I'm gonna put some of these on. These are M&Ms, and they're in spooky colors, which does make it quite Halloweeny. I'm also gonna do some Smarties, and then with my white chocolate, I'm gonna drizzle that across the whole thing. And then I'm gonna put some sprinkles on. These ones are little skeleton bones, I might go with those. And a couple of green hundreds and thousands. I feel like this is a really fun thing to do if you don't have a lot of time, but also if you have kids or you're with your siblings, or I don't know, it's just something really fun to do together, and you can get quite creative and quite messy. After that, you want to pop this in the fridge or the freezer and let it set. I've taken my bark out of the freezer, which surprisingly really didn't take that long. And here's some that I did earlier as well. Here's some that I did earlier. Always wanted to say that. And then you simply peel it off. Oh my God, that is just the most satisfying thing I have ever done in my life. And then you just literally break it. There's a reason it's called bark, because it's just in pieces. And there you have your Halloween chocolate bark. Okay, the next one is called Jelly and Ice Cream, which I think is just a great pun on words. I've got cramp in my foot. Oh my God. Isn't that weird that I'm talking about ice cream and I start screaming because I get cramp in my foot? I wanted to do something with jelly and ice cream because I flipping love it, and I haven't had it since I was a kid, and I feel like the theme to these treats are kind of childhood favorites, which is kind of what I wanted to go for. With this, you simply need jelly, glasses of your choice. I've gone for some quite fancy plastic glittery martini glasses, and water. You will also need some ice cream and anything else you want to put on the top. So I've got some popping candy because I feel like that's quite Halloween-esque, and something to drizzle on the top that looks a bit like blood. So I've gone for some strawberry dessert sauce. It might be worth noting that this does take a little while, in a sense of you have to have patience whilst each layer of jelly is chilling. It doesn't require a lot of effort, it just means you're mixing a new colour and pouring it on top and leaving it, but you want to bring them out at the last minute because you're going to be putting ice cream on top. I've gone for blackcurrant, lime and orange because I feel like these are some really great Halloween flavours. They do actually do one that's blue and glittery, which you can also check out. I'm going to start with the blackcurrant, so I'm going to do the blackcurrant layer first. This is also a really cheap treat to do, and I think visually it looks quite cool. Break the jelly and put it into your measuring jug. You then want to pour half a pint of boiling water into your jug. And you just want to wait until that dissolves. Once you've filled up the measuring jug with half a pint of boiling water and everything has dissolved, you then want to top it up to 1 pint with cold water, and it will look something like this and smell delicious. Get your glasses, and you want to just fill up 1/3 with blackcurrant jelly, like so. And then you're going to want to put your glasses in the fridge to set. I found that it takes about an hour each layer. Once your jelly has set, you want to take it out of the fridge. So it'll look like this, it'll wobble, it won't go anywhere. And you want to start with the second layer. I am going for orange, and you just want to do the same again. So half a pint of boiling water until it's dissolved, and then top it up with cold water to 1 pint. Obviously worth bearing in mind, I'm not just doing this for one glass. I have lots more that I've already prepared. But this does make a lot of different jelly glasses, so just worth bearing in mind. It doesn't just do one. Now you can pour your second layer, taking it 2/3. Ta-da! And as you did before, you want to take this and put it in the fridge. And then it kind of goes without saying that the last layer you do is the green or whichever other colour you want, or if you can't bother to do 3 layers, just do 2, but I have to say I think 3 looks a little bit more impressive. Now is the kind of fun bit where you get to scoop ice cream on top of your jelly. I've got some soft scoop Cornish ice cream. Spoopy scoop scoop. Ha! So this is gonna look like blood. Ugh. I feel like this is gonna just taste so good. And now, because you can't do Halloween without a bit of popping candy, I'm gonna sprinkle some on top. And there you go, your jelly and ice cream, which I think looks fab and it wobbles. Ta-da! Look at all the treats! The ice cream is quite quickly melting, but that's fine because, you know, that's what ice cream does. And I can hear the popping candy like crackling and it sounds amazing. I actually really want to try some, which I might have to do in a second. But I'm so happy with how these turned out. They are so easy. You don't really need a lot of ingredients. There's not an awful lot of baking required. And yeah, pretty straightforward. I really hope there's something here that you guys can't wait to get making, and make sure if you do to tweet me or Instagram your images. I love scrolling through and seeing you all recreating everything I made. With the apple crumble cupcakes, I've seen so many of you tweeting them to me and saying that you thought they were delicious, which makes me very happy. So again, if you make any of this, be sure to let me know. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you want to see more videos, and I will see you again very soon. Bye! This is making me so nostalgic. You're just gonna do that zoom in thing again, aren't you? Because I just go and go and go. I'm like, oh my God. It's so good. Anyway, delicious. Ta-ra. Sorry. Oh, shit. Oh, sorry. It's done it again. We've got no white chocolate left. Oh my God, I wanna die. Come on. Now I'm going to do some squirting.
No, you can't.
I wanna die.